$1 million to be spent upgrading Oistins in time for the ICC Cricket World Cup. Extended operating hours for the hotline set up to help Barbadians battling mental health issues. Barbados benefiting from promotional activities in the Latin American market. And in sports, Barbados Pride lose precious ground on day one of the title-deciding final series of the CWI 4-day championship.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. Close to $5 million will be spent on one of Barbados' popular attractions to transform it into a fan zone for Cricket World Cup. Head of the National Organizing Committee, Noel Lynch, says Oistins has become a center of entertainment for both locals and visitors. It has been identified as one of the 3 fan zones on the island where people will be able to gather to watch World Cup matches.
During the World Cup, it is important that our visitors see Oistins and see these iconic venues. But in addition to that, this opportunity for the refurbishment and upliftment of Oistins offers a wonderful opportunity for Barbadians, Barbadian entrepreneurs, the businessmen and women, small businessmen and women mostly, that operate and ply their trade at Oistins.
Mr. Lynch says the aim is to upgrade and uplift the area to a much higher standard.
You know, over the years, Oistins has become a little bit worn, a little bit torn, but we want to uplift Oistins, and the government is going to spend $4.7 million, just shy of $5 million to uplift, refurbish most of the stalls that are there, paint them up. There's going to be upgrade of the bathrooms and all the facilities, power washing, really cleaning up and sprucing up Oistins so that it can become one of our main fan zones for the Cricket World Cup 2024.
The other fan zones will be located at Pelican Village in the city and Hayman's Market in St. Peter. Well, many of the entrepreneurs who ply their trade in the southern town have welcomed the news about investment in the area. Rianne Phillips has more in this report.
The upgrades have stretched not only for Oistins Beer Garden, it has stretched to the fish market, it has stretched to Granny's Car Park, all down at Super Center. And the ambiance, even the vendors on the side of the road, the bread people, all of these people are going to benefit from the upgrades.
That's President of the Oistins Beer Garden Association, Kimar Harris, outlining how the $4.7 million will be spent in the area. Finer details for the Oistins Beer Garden include, but are not limited to, upgrades to countertops, extended coverage for stalls, upgrades to the drainage system, the stage, and its access road. He says it's a welcome facelift.
I took over here 4 years ago, and from the time I took over, we were lobbying for a lot of things. I often say nothing don't happen ever before it's time. And a lot of things that we have been asking for, we are grateful for the government and the powers that be for seeing it fit to give Oistins a makeover, a lift that all can benefit. So I think that all of the members, both Fish Market or Fisher Folk or Beer Garden, and those that benefiting from it on the outskirts are internally happy.
And those sentiments have been echoed by long-standing vendors.
I've been in the Beer Garden for the past 28 years and beyond. I was actually doing this before 28 years. I was doing it before it became a beer garden. I am very happy and content with the second refurbishment of Oistins, because this will become the second one. It's actually going to help enhance the business financially, mentally, and spiritually, because we're going to have everything at Oistins. So I'm happy with it.
I'm third generation, so we've been here for the same 28 or more years. It's good that we have this level of investment. I hope eventually there will be ours, that we'll be investing in ourselves, but it's good that they're doing the work. I hope it's not only for World Cup and they do extend it throughout the years, but it's good that they're looking at us small people to invest in.
32 food and 24 craft vendors are based at the Oistins Beer Garden. And with the investment, some of them will receive free tents. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
Barbadians who have been battling mental health issues will now have access to help 24 hours a day. That's because government is moving to increase the operating hours of the Lifeline Barbados hotline. Lorna Jones has that story.
According to reports, those manning the hotline have received almost 300 calls since its launch on February 1st. The service has been set up to help those with emotional challenges or people struggling with other issues. However, Minister of State in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Davison Ishmael, says it is currently accessible only during the hours of 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. daily.
And right now it is operating on a very limited length of time per day because of, we started it as a pilot. We want to see how things will go on the uptake. And I've heard from the team just recently that there is an expectation that within the coming weeks that we're going to be able to extend those hours to 24 hours a day because the demand and the uptake has been good. And not only demand, but of course the responses that we're getting, and because of the interventions that we're making, persons have reported to us that this has been a very useful avenue through which they were able to get some assistance.
The minister was speaking following the opening of the Mind and Body Gym at the psychiatric hospital. Management and staff at the hospital are working on improving their own mental health through fitness, an initiative Mr. Ishmael supports. He's also disclosed plans to review the mental health legislation.
We therefore, as a contemporary and a progressive administration and government, we're in the process right now of undertaking a thorough review and modernization of that legislation because, of course, people have changed. We have evolved almost as a species, and we want to be able to ensure that our legislation is in keeping with where people are right now in terms of mental health awareness, etc.
Meanwhile, nursing officer at the psychiatric hospital, Ryan Lewis, says coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, more people are accessing mental health services.
Anecdotally, I don't have the exact figures, but I can say coming out of COVID, we have seen an exponential increase in traffic of persons accessing these services. It would be a better gauge to deem if the services are independently sought or if persons are actually being referred, because we want both sets of things to occur as well. We want mental health to be a service where it's likened to that of dental care and polyclinic care, where persons do a check-in ever so often throughout the year, 2-3 times a year, and not wait until issues deteriorate to the point of you almost hitting rock bottom.
Officials are advising individuals who need support for their mental health issues, they can get assistance at the 9 polyclinics and the psychiatric hospital. Lorna Jones, CBC News.
The psychiatric hospital is on a mission to remove the stigma associated with mental health. And to do this, nursing officer Ryan Lewis is championing a national campaign titled Check My Bias. The program was launched on March the 11th to allow people to check their beliefs and myths surrounding mental health issues.
So we want persons to do a personal reflection, take a collective pause, and ask this particular question. Is my perspective to the whole story as a whole, or do I need to check my bias?
Mr. Lewis says since the soft launch of the project via social media, they have undertaken to visit polyclinics and other health institutions to educate the public. He says so far, public interest is there, but more effort will be done to break the stigma against mental health.
We have to dispel the narrative that mental health issues are a particular subset of society. Actually, mental health is all of us. Gone are the days that we can look on the streets and think that the street characters in Bridgetown or the person who smoked drugs, that those are the only persons affected with mental health issues. We all experience COVID, and we all have some kind of feelings about uncertainty, how COVID would affect us from a social perspective, a physical perspective, a psychological perspective, even educational. So having said all of that, COVID is all of us. Actually, mental health is all of us.
As Barbados looks to Latin America to boost tourism earnings, there's hope for increased airlift from one of its airline partners. Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated, Andrea Franklin, says it's one of the island's fastest growing markets, recording 78% growth in 2023 over the 2022 numbers. She says the BTMI is working to explore the potential of that region with a deeper partnership with Copa Airlines, one of the desired outcomes.
Copa Airlines has been one of our main partners out of this market. We've seen this airline grow from one flight weekly to currently we are at four flights a week, and the intention is for us to be able to continue this relationship, continue this partnership to eventually hopefully get to a daily service out of with this airline, because obviously with Copa we are using the feeder city of Panama, and it opens up the gateways into the entire region.
Ms. Franklin, along with the BTMI's chair, Shelley Williams, and Director of Latin America, Corey Garrett, are in Sao Paulo, Brazil, participating in the 2024 World Travel Market Latin America. That event, which got underway on Tuesday, ends today and serves as a platform for global travel leaders to converge and discuss potential collaborations and innovations in the tourism industry. Barbados is also on show at that event with its booth promoting Barbadiana, as well as major and niche events in entertainment, leisure and sports.
Our mission, of course, is to continue to cement more deals or more interest in the destination from not only the consumer level, but from also the stakeholder level, because in the industry, the wholesalers, the travel operators, the travel agents themselves are the key persons who help us to drive the business towards the destination.
Well, those of you looking up to the sky were greeted with a spectacle this morning. It was a halo around the sun. The Barbados Met Service on its Facebook page has sought to provide clarity on its formation. It is produced by the reflection of the sun's rays on a thin layer of ice in the high-level cirrus clouds. According to the National Weather Service, owing to cold tropospheric temperatures at these levels, cirrus clouds primarily are composed of ice crystals and are often appearing thin, streaky and white. Here, but coming up, an update on rice production in Barbados. From the golden province of Hunan, China, to the landscape of Barbados, the experimental upland rice grow project continues to thrive. A visit to view the crop on Barbados Agricultural Development and Marketing Corporation lands in Fairy Valley, Christchurch, shows this year's crop is flourishing.
This project to grow rice in Barbados is a collaborative effort between China's Hunan Lingxi Agricultural Services and the BADMC. The intention is to reduce Barbados's rice imports. The first crop of 58.62 kilograms was harvested last September, and the next one later this year is expected to be even bigger. Alan Wing is the lead technician.
We just planned a small area just for 72.8 square meters, but for last year I think the produce is very good, so this year we try to develop some more area.
A visiting rice farmer, Jean-Marc Amy, who is involved in rice farming through Moruga Hill Rice in Trinidad and Tobago, says while there are similarities to the process used in his country, there are also differences.
In Trinidad, a lot of our as it is named, hill rice is planted, more on slopes, as opposed to Barbados, it's being planted on more flat lands. And we also use similar methods of irrigation. And, I was able to get a few good takeaways in terms of the machinery that could be employed in the seeding phase.
Meanwhile, Malcolm Walcott, who has been working for about 2 years with the project, says he has learned a lot. But the most important lesson has been how to save water.
The Chinese use less water per acre than an average farmer uses per year. Last year, we rice field was 20 by 20, and we lose the amount of water farmer lose per month than we lose a week. And this really here is to show we how to water save in farming. As long as you got irrigation, you can water save. That's the main thing I'm learning a lot about Chinese, because I want to be a good farmer. Though I might get older, but they're teaching me a lot.
Additionally, Mr. Walcott says despite the differences in methods, everyone should embrace their water-saving measures.
For a small water-scarce country, they teaching me how to save water. They teach me how to cut a dam around your field. That when the rainy season comes, you collect your own water. and save it, so that the water that you collect run your potato, run your yam, it moisturizes the ground. That during the drought now you still got water and keep the field moist.
It is now only a matter of time before the crop is harvested.
As the Barbados Union of Teachers marks its 50th anniversary, we're being told teaching has contributed not only to the education system, but also national development. The message was delivered at the union's annual conference at the Radisson Aquatica under the theme BUT 50 and Beyond.
Since 1974, the Barbados Union of Teachers has done a lot for teachers and trade unionism. Guest speaker Colin Jordan, the Minister of Labour, Social Security and the Third Sector, says teachers have contributed to the social and economic development of Barbados and not just the education systems.
Effective educational systems can boost GDP by up to 2% over a 20-year period. That alone should speak to us about the importance at the macroeconomic level of education, and there is no education without educators.
However, as the President Rudy Lovell in his report says, it has not been all smooth sailing for the profession or the union. One area of great discomfort is the length of time the Ministry of Education takes to address health and safety and environmental matters.
At times, shoddy work is done, and the issues are not adequately resolved and may place people at risk of falling under their own weight. We will continue to follow industrial relations protocol and inform the Ministry of Education in writing and verbally of our concerns. Despite public announcements made by both parties, the relationship between the BUT and the Ministry of Education is healthy.
The Deputy Education Officer, Joy Adamson, is encouraging the union to learn from their past 50 years.
Your 50th anniversary is a time to emphasize the qualities that BUT must preserve or acquire to make it into another 50 years. Over the last half century, you have survived recessions, health crises, all of us, technological changes, and societal transformations, and a whole host of other innovations and events that could have resulted in a reduction in your membership. But you're still here strong.
And the Congress of Trade Unions and Staff Associations wants the BUT to redefine and reshape itself.
That's Wendy Burke with those reports. The Barbados Light and Power Company has been spending thousands of dollars to repair damage caused by vehicular accidents. This has prompted the utility to issue an appeal for motorists to be more cautious. Sharika Griffith has that story.
In the past 6 weeks, no fewer than 8 road traffic accidents have resulted in damage to electricity poles and power lines, leaving customers without power. CBC reached out to communications advisor with the Barbados Light and Power, Cassandra Crawford, for comment on the impact of these collisions.
On some occasions, poles have been broken, some dislodged. These are situations that we never wish to happen and always ask persons to drive with due care on the roads of Barbados. Of course, there is a cost to replacing poles, transformers, and to repairing the lines. Costs that the company would much rather avert. These situations cause outages and inconvenience several customers and businesses at a time.
But just how much does it cost to carry out these repairs?
In terms of the costs associated with replacing broken poles and hardware on the poles, this can range from $2,000 up to approximately $12,000, taking into consideration pole height and whether other poles in close proximity to a downed pole may have been impacted. Then there's labor associated with dispatching repair crews. That's also considered in the cost shared here.
In light of this, the company is asking motorists to be careful on the island's roads.
We will continue to operate with high safety standards, which include planting our poles at least 5 feet deep and set back from our roadways. We will continue to engage the public as well, particularly high-load vehicle drivers, about safety and best practices. These accidents impact our company and our customers, so we will plead with motorists, Please be careful and responsible when driving on our roads.
One of the latest incidents, which occurred in the area commonly referred to as the Turnpike in St. George, left the road impassable and residents in nearby districts without power. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
The Barbados Drug Service has advised that people should expect increased wait times at some polyclinic pharmacies. This is until further notice, owing to the implementation of a new pharmacy management system. These include the pharmacies at the Winston Scott Polyclinic, the David Thompson Health and Social Services Complex, the St. Joseph and St. Andrew Outpatients Clinics. The new system is expected to result in an improvement in patient records management, treatment and pharmaceutical health care and safety.
Sports Night is brought to you by Power In, Pause is Power, and by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after.
Time now for Sports Night as we're joined by Damien Best. Damien, good evening.
Well, after receiving a Wisden-leading T20 cricketer accolade for her outstanding performances in 2023, West Indies women captain Hayley Matthews is already looking towards good returns in 2024. Speaking to CBC Sports, Matthews says the hard work continues to pay off.
Just very grateful to have been recognized with this award. A lot of hard work went into the 2023 season that I would have had, and just really happy that I was able to go out and have a big year to remember, and hopefully 2024 brings a lot more success for me.
Well, Matthews was speaking ahead of the opening one international against Pakistan women starting in Karachi at 12:30 a.m. Barbados time. Now, the 50-member Windies team completed a week-long training camp in Dubai under the watchful eyes of coach Shane Dietz and are on a quest for crucial points in the ICC 2022-2025 Women's Championship. Switching sports now, the Co-Operators General Insurance BABA Premier League Final Series is now leveled at 1 apiece after Burger King Clapham Bulls took Game 2 over CAM Smart Assurance City United Celtics last night at the Wildy Gym. CBC's Anne Margaret Boyce was there and filed this report.
Clapham Bulls in orange needing a victory to avoid going 2 down in the 3 best-of-5 series. But it was Joel Hunt of Celtics with the first chance for a bucket. Misses, but Renico Brewster does the rest. The Bulls were slow to start, but then quickly got going on an all-important night. Simeon Maynard to Andrew Eiffel steps inside and delivers a mid-range jumper. Nothing but net. Hunt, as in Game 1, was the main man for the Celtics, causing trouble throughout the contest. Here he is through traffic and to the hole, 2 of his 18 points. Hunt had an opposite number in Akeem Marsh, who had a game-high 20 points, and the slam dunk was evidence of his dominance. The Bulls began to take full control. They led at the end of the first quarter and were also up at halftime 39-17, as Marsh, assisted by captain Raheem Gibbons, shows his effectiveness from outside. Look at him from three-point range. That's magic. The Celtics recorded 23 turnovers, much to the delight of the Bulls. One more for good measure before halftime. Kemar Ben, basket and foul, and check out the passion on his face. Second half action, and this is where the Bulls took the match away from the Celtics. Simeon Maynard, way too easy, rolls off the screen. Impressive. Despite trailing, the Celtics were still believing. Theo Greenidge, easy layup, 2 of his 15. But the Bulls were determined and played some great offense. Outside jumper from Gibbons is good. He registered 19 points in total. The Bulls continued to extend their lead. This silky smooth play ends with Marsh dunking this one. That's 2 more. Gibbons closed out the contest with this play. Left-hand layup is perfect as the Bulls took Game 2 by a 20-point margin, 69-49, to leave the series level at 1-1. Anmar Goodrich Boyce, CBC Sports.
The Business Report is brought to you with the kind compliments of the National Insurance and Social Security Service. More than a contribution, it's your lifeline.
In business tonight, Barbados is being told it cannot wait until 2050 to press ahead with its energy transition target. Minister of Energy and Business, Senator Lisa Cummins, says with the goal to derive 100% of its energy from renewable energy, with 2035 being the outer limit, the policy has been set. She, however, says the regulatory arrangements must keep pace. Senator Cummins is in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates, where she is participating in the 14th session of the Assembly of the International Renewable Energy Agency.
We need to be able to get there, and we need to be able to have that ambition accelerated first, heightened, and then accelerated. We, for example, in Barbados set a target which is highly ambitious, 2030, 2035, to be able to get to net zero. But when we look around the global community, is it comfortable for us to take 2050, 2060? How long is too long for us as a global community, and how much more quickly do we need to make the transition? Barbados has a fuel import bill, for example. We don't produce any of the transition fuels. We import 100% of the fuel. And if we are still depending on fossil fuels in the first instance at this stage to be able to fuel our base load, then it creates a challenge for us because our acceleration to renewables is compromised because we're spending too much money on the very side that we want to be able to migrate away from.
Barbados and the countries of the region's embrace of community tourism has been welcomed by the Caribbean Tourism Organization. Secretary General Donna Regis Prosper says the move shows tourism is being reimagined beyond the traditional sun, sea and sand. Her comments came during a high-level thematic event at the United Nations on Tourism as part of activities for Sustainability Week.
Looking at smart destinations, looking at sustainable product development and breaking that down into 5 Ps, which very important to that is prosperity. And what that prosperity means is, in addition to the link to my name, also means that every person involved in the tourism industry benefits economically. If it's not benefits in the community, then it is not the best practice.
Well, Damien Best is back with the second half in sports. Damien?
Yeah, thanks so much, Pearson. Barbados men made a winning start to the 2024 Caribbean Table Tennis Championships being played in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. The men's team of Mark Dowell, Tyrese Knight and Trey Riley blanked their Jamaican opponents 3-0 before edging Trinidad and Tobago 3-2 yesterday. However, in the quarterfinals this evening, Barbados lost to Guyana 3-1. Knight was the lone winner, taking out Elisha Johnson in 3 straight sets. In the women's team competition, Kennedy King, Antoinette Riley and Kadesh Weeks lost 3-0 to Guyana as well in their third group match. Well, St. Barnabas registered a close victory over Spooners Hill Firebirds when the Barbados Netball Association Premier League continued last night. Again, CBC's Amar Boyce reports.
St. Barnabas in their flashy paint taking on the Spooners Hill Firebirds. This is the first quarter, early stages of the contest. The Firebirds looking to flap their wings. Goal attack, Emisha Barrow with this attempt. Unlucky, but goal shooter Chantal Braffett was there to mop it up. Yup, she had 6 from 10 on the night. Wing attack, Samantha Brown was pulling the strings for St. Barnabas. Lovely pass to Trisha Dean, who finds Jada Smith. And that's good. Smith was in no-nonsense mood, and on this occasion, she adds to her tally. The Firebirds were trailing but had their moments as well. Nice use of the court before Barrow gets her shot to go. St. Barnabas led the first quarter 11-6 and the second 23-14. Their dominance was being displayed at a high level. Precise passing and movement around the court. Smith made no mistake on this shot. She had a whopping 34 from 46 attempts, along with a word of encouragement from Brown. Yeah, good to see. The girls in pink definitely deserved the lead at the break, as they were in full control. Goal attack, Dean joins the party and makes this one count. Second half, there's a new goal attack for St. Barnabas, Shonika Griffith, and she's off with a bang. Just listen to the crowd. The third and fourth quarters told a different story, as the Firebirds appeared to be staging a fight back. Goal attack, Destiny Ford Haynes adds to the till. Ford Haynes had a perfect record for 4 from 4 attempts, and she contributed well to the Firebirds' charge. Here she is again, impressive. Despite Ford Haynes' efforts, St. Barnabas prevailed. Bit of trickery from Smith. fakes and passes to Griffith, and that's fabulous. It was one-way traffic at this point. This should have been an easy goal for Smith. How did she miss from there? No need to be worried though, as Griffith recovered it well. The curtain came down on the match with this St. Barnabas attack. It's Jada, the locksmith, opens the door. Brilliant. And it ended with St. Barnabas being victorious over the Firebirds, 41-34. And Mark Goodrich Boyce, CBC Sports.
And that's our time tonight. Thank you for spending it with us. I'm Pearson Bowen for the crew. To all of you, good night. By God's will, we will see you tomorrow.